Liam, a talented architect in his late 30s, found himself staring out his office window, the city skyline a testament to human ambition, yet a hollow echo in his own chest. He'd just landed the biggest project of his career, a skyscraper that would pierce the clouds, a monument to his vision. It was everything he'd ever worked for. So why did he feel a profound, gnawing emptiness? Why did the accolades feel like fleeting whispers against an encroaching silence? He'd chased significance, poured his life into concrete and steel, yet the foundation of his own being felt unmoored. This isn't just Liam's private struggle. Have you ever felt that relentless drive to achieve, to be recognized, to leave something behind that screams, "I was here, I mattered"? That deep, almost primal urge to build, to create, to conquer, or even just to be remembered fondly by a few. What if this very drive, this engine of human endeavor, is not simply a noble aspiration, but a carefully constructed defense against a truth so terrifying? Most of us spend our entire lives running from it. What if your greatest ambitions, your most cherished dreams of leaving a legacy, are all part of an elaborate unconscious Immortality Project? Today, we unmask this profound human drama, that feeling of unease Liam experienced, that anxiety despite apparent success. That's the tremor of a fundamental human truth beginning to surface. A truth most of society, most of our cultural narratives conspire to keep buried, and it's precisely into this often avoided territory of our deepest fears and motivations that the cultural anthropologist Ernest Becker ventured with such unflinching courage in his masterwork, The Denial of Death. This isn't a comfortable journey we're embarking on. Becker's insights are not designed for easy consumption. They are meant to shatter illusions, to confront us with the raw, often terrifying reality of our existential predicament. But within this confrontation lies the potential for a truly radical self-understanding. Guided by Becker's profound analysis, we won't just explore why you feel this insatiable need for meaning and significance. We will equip you with the intellectual keys to unlock the hidden mechanisms of your own immortality project, to understand its power, its purpose, and, crucially, its potential pitfalls. This isn't about small adjustments to your worldview. Prepare for a fundamental reevaluation that could redefine your relationship with your life, your work, and the very concept of what it means to be human. Forget the superficial self-help mantras. We are diving deep into the core of your being, to unearth truths that, once faced, can empower you to live with a new, more conscious, and perhaps a more authentic form of heroism. If you're ready to stop being a prisoner of unconscious drives and start consciously architecting a life of genuine meaning, even in the face of life's deepest terrors, then make sure you are subscribed to MindMirror. This exploration is a vital step in that awakening. Don't just observe reality. Dare to understand the forces that shape it, starting with yourself. So, where does this relentless human drive for significance, for heroism, truly originate? Why can't we, like other animals, simply exist, content in the flow of life, without this constant, often desperate, striving? Let's consider Sarah, a young activist pouring her heart and soul into a climate change campaign. She works tirelessly, sacrifices personal comfort, driven by an almost feverish conviction. On the surface, it's a noble cause, but Becker would compel us to look deeper. He argues that the primary, all-encompassing motive of human behavior is the terror of death, not just the physical cessation of being, but the terror of oblivion, of ceasing to matter, of being utterly and finally insignificant in a vast, indifferent universe. This isn't a morbid preoccupation. It's a fundamental reality of our self-conscious existence. We are, as Becker puts it, gods with anuses, creatures who can contemplate eternity, yet are bound to a decaying finite body. This paradox is the source of our deepest anxiety. To cope with this overwhelming terror, Becker posits, we engage in what he calls the causa-sui project, the attempt to be the cause of oneself, to deny our creatureliness, our ultimate dependence and finitude. From early childhood, we strive to establish a sense of control, of power, of being a primary value in the universe. This is the vital lie of character. We build an NARMOR of defenses, of socially approved behaviors and beliefs, to convince ourselves that we are not just fragile, temporary beings, but something more, something lasting. And the most potent form this causa-sui project takes is the universal need for heroism. We need to feel that our lives have a significance that transcends our individual death, that we are contributing to something larger, something that will endure. Think about James, a dedicated father who works 2 jobs to provide for his family. Is it just about financial security, or is it also about fulfilling a heroic role? The provider, the protector, a role that gives his life meaning and a sense of lasting value through his children. Becker suggests the latter is the more profound, often unconscious driver. This need to be a hero, to feel like an object of primary value, is not a sign of vanity, but a desperate existential necessity born from the terror of insignificance. So, the core insight here is that our deep-seated need for heroism is fundamentally a response to an even deeper fear, the terror of death and oblivion. It's the engine of our causa-sui project, our attempt to create a self that can withstand the reality of its own finitude. But if this need is so personal, so deeply ingrained, how does it manifest on a larger scale? How do societies themselves play into this? Human beings don't create their sense of heroism in a vacuum. We are born into cultures. And as Becker powerfully argues, every culture at its core is an elaborate hero system. It's a symbolic action system, a shared drama, that provides ready-made pathways for individuals to achieve a sense of heroic self-worth, and, by extension, a form of symbolic immortality. Consider the story of Maria, a devout follower of a particular religious faith. Her life is structured by rituals, by a community of believers, by a narrative that promises eternal life for those who adhere to its tenets. For Maria, her faith isn't just a set of beliefs, it's her primary immortality project. It provides her with a clear role, a sense of purpose, and a way to transcend her individual mortality by connecting to something timeless and divine. Cultures, Becker explains, offer us these immortality projects in myriad forms: religion, nationalism, political ideologies, scientific endeavor, artistic creation, even the pursuit of wealth or romantic love. Each of these provides a framework, a set of values and roles, within which individuals can strive for significance and feel that their lives count beyond their brief span on Earth. They are, in essence, vital lies on a grand scale, fictions that we collectively agree to live by because they shield us from the raw terror of our condition. The good citizen, the brave soldier, the successful entrepreneur, the devoted spouse. These are all heroic roles offered by different cultural scripts. By identifying with these roles and performing them with conviction, we participate in the culture's Immortality Project, and, in turn, feel our own lives imbued with a significance that death cannot entirely erase. Have you ever felt a surge of pride identifying with your nation's achievements, or a deep sense of purpose in your professional calling? Becker would suggest that these feelings are, in part, the angst of mortality being channeled into culturally sanctioned forms of heroism. Cultures, then, are not just collections of customs and beliefs. They are, as Becker sees them, elaborate hero systems providing us with immortality projects, symbolic pathways to feel significant and to deny the finality of death. But how do these grand cultural narratives translate into the intimate landscape of our individual lives? How do we personally adopt and adapt these projects? The cultural hero systems Becker describes are not just abstract ideologies. They become deeply internalized, shaping our most personal ambitions and our sense of self. Think of David, an aspiring novelist who spends years in solitude, sacrificing financial security and social comforts, all to craft a story he believes must be told. His novel is his personal immortality project. It's his attempt to create something of lasting value, something that will carry his voice, his vision, beyond his own lifetime. This isn't just about artistic expression. It's a profound existential wager. Becker argues that we each, consciously or unconsciously, select or construct a primary immortality project that becomes the central focus of our life's energy. For some, like David, it might be a creative work. For others, it could be raising a family, seeing one's values and lineage continue through one's children. Professor Eleanor Vance, a dedicated academic, might find her immortality in her research, in her contribution to knowledge, and in the students she mentors. For a political activist like Chloe, it's the fight for social justice, the belief that her efforts contribute to a better future for humanity, even if she won't live to see it fully realized. These personal projects are how we earn our self-esteem, our feeling of being a hero in the universe. However small or grand that universe might be, they are the vehicles through which we attempt to deny our creatureliness, our smallness, our finitude, our ultimate powerlessness against the cosmos. We invest these projects with tremendous emotional and symbolic significance. They become, in a sense, our God terms, the source of our ultimate meaning and value. The success of these projects becomes synonymous with our own symbolic survival. Have you identified what your primary immortality project might be? What is it that you pour your deepest energies into, that gives you that sense of transcending the everyday, of truly mattering? Recognizing this is a crucial step in understanding Becker's thesis. So, we've seen that individuals don't just passively accept cultural hero systems. We actively adopt, personalize, and invest our deepest energies into specific immortality projects to secure our sense of self-worth and deny death. But what happens when these projects, these vital lies, become problematic? What is the dark side of this universal human strategy? While immortality projects are essential for human psychological functioning, providing us with meaning and a buffer against existential terror, Becker is unflinching in his analysis of their potential dangers. This is where his work becomes truly awakening and deeply challenging. Consider the historical figure of a charismatic but ruthless leader. Let's call him General Marcus, who galvanizes a nation with a vision of glorious conquest and eternal national destiny. His immortality project, the aggrandizement of his nation, becomes the project of millions. But what is the cost? Becker argues that because our immortality projects are, at their root, attempts to deny the truth of our finitude, they are inherently based on illusion, on a vital lie. And when these illusions become rigid, when they demand absolute conformity, when they become the only source of value and meaning, they can become incredibly destructive. The need to uphold one's chosen hero system at all costs can lead to the demonization and persecution of those who adhere to different systems. If my immortality project is the only true one, then yours must be false, and perhaps even a threat. This, Becker suggests, is a deep psychological root of scapegoating, of group conflict, of war, and even genocide. The other becomes the embodiment of death, of finitude, of the evil that threatens our precious, life-sustaining illusion. By destroying the other, we feel, however unconsciously, that we are destroying death itself, reaffirming the validity of our own claim to immortality. Think about it in your own life. Have you ever clung so tightly to a belief, a career, or a relationship, seeing it as the only source of your self-worth, that you became intolerant of anything or anyone who challenged it? This is the dark side of the immortality project. It can lead to what Becker calls the transference of evil. We project our own inner fears, our own sense of badness, our creatureliness, our mortality onto an external enemy, and then seek to annihilate that enemy as a way of purging ourselves. The very heroism that is meant to affirm life can, in its desperate denial of death, become a terrifying engine of destruction. The pursuit of symbolic immortality, if not tempered with a profound awareness of its illusory nature and a deep compassion for the shared human predicament, can transform us from aspiring heroes into tragic villains. Ernest Becker's chilling insight, then, is that our essential need to deny death through immortality projects and hero systems is a double-edged sword. While it fuels our greatest achievements and provides life with meaning, it also harbors the potential for immense self-deception and destruction when these projects become rigid and demand the annihilation of the other. So, where does this leave us? Is there a path towards a more conscious, less destructive form of heroism? So, we've journeyed with Ernest Becker into the profound, often uncomfortable, truth that the terror of death, and our elaborate attempts to deny it, is perhaps the most fundamental driver of human behavior. We've seen how this universal fear fuels our causa-sui project, the deep need to feel like a hero, an object of primary value in the cosmos. Cultures, in turn, provide us with hero systems, shared symbolic dramas, and immortality projects like religion, career, family, or art, through which we seek to achieve this sense of lasting significance. We internalize these, crafting personal immortality projects that become the bedrock of our self-esteem and our vital lie against the terror of oblivion. But we've also confronted the dangerous paradox these very projects, in their desperate denial of finitude, can lead to rigidity, scapegoating, and the projection of evil, transforming our noblest aspirations into sources of conflict and destruction. What, then, is the most crucial takeaway from Becker's challenging vision? Perhaps it is this: the call to a more conscious heroism. The first step is to dare to unmask our own immortality projects. Ask yourself, what is the central story you tell yourself about your life's meaning and purpose? What are you investing in to feel that you transcend death? Is it your career, your family, your creative pursuits, your ideology? There's no judgment here, only an invitation to awareness. The second, and perhaps more difficult, thinking tool Becker offers is the courage to confront the illusory nature of these projects without falling into despair. Can we acknowledge that our drive for heroism is rooted in death denial, yet still find value in striving, in creating, in loving? Can we embrace our finitude, our creatureliness, and from that very acceptance, derive a more authentic, less defensive form of strength? This is not a call to abandon our projects, but to hold them more lightly, with more humility, and with a profound compassion for the shared human terror that binds us all. The ultimate empowerment Becker offers is the realization that by facing the truth of our denial, we open the possibility of choosing our illusions and our heroisms more wisely. What is your immortality project? And how has understanding Becker's ideas today perhaps shifted your perspective on it? Share your reflections in the comments below. This is a space for honest, courageous self-discovery. How will you begin to approach your own need for heroism with more consciousness and perhaps more compassion for yourself and others? This journey into the heart of our existential anxieties is just beginning. If you're committed to unmasking the illusions that shape your life and to forging a more authentic path, make sure you are subscribed to MindMirror and hit that notification bell. Our next exploration will take us even deeper. Until then, dare to question the stories you live by. The ideas explored in this video are for philosophical and psychological exploration and are not intended as professional advice. Viewers are encouraged to engage in their own critical thinking and further research, and to consult with qualified professionals for personal concerns.